everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. And it's my 700th. I can't believe I'm still doing these. It's insane. But I still enjoy doing it. So for the few of you out there who are still watching, it's not like it was with gaygamer.net, where it had a huge audience and like hundreds of people would watch me. Now it's like 20, but thank you all for still watching me as I ramble into my camera phone and talk about movies and video games and whatever else strikes my fancy. So this week, I did not go to the movies because I had no interest in seeing yet another soulless live-action remake of an animated movie that I actually really like. So, no, thank you very much, though. Not even in 3D. I was like, you know what? No. I will just watch the original How to Train Your Dragon in 3D. Thank you very much. So also this weekend, it worked out because this weekend was Brooklyn Pride. So instead of going to the movies, I hung out with my friend Cam and we enjoyed Brooklyn Pride as much as we could since it was kind of raining and gross and at least it wasn't crowded. As crowded as it would be if it was nice out. There was a booth handing out free cans of Coke. It was orange cream Coke. And I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued. So I took a can, but we had just eaten, so I didn't want to drink it right then. So I said, I'll save it, I'll drink it later tonight or tomorrow or something. And Cam suggested that I drink it live and do a live reaction to whatever the hell this is going to taste like in my next episode. And I said, it's weird, I don't do that sort of thing. But then I thought, you know what? It's my 700th episode, let's do something different. So here is my can of orange cream Coke that I expect to not taste very good, but we shall see. I remember trying the spiced Coke, which was like raspberry flavored with some spice in it. And I don't really know what the spice was, but the spice kind of ruined it. Like the first sip was good and you're like, oh, okay. Cause I like cherry Coke. So raspberry Coke was fine. But then the spice just sort of made it kind of gross and I did not enjoy it. Orange cream, love a creamsicle. It's awesome. You know, putting whipped cream vodka into orange soda, one of my favorites back in the day. But I don't like, and I like vanilla Coke, so I can see where the cream would work with the Coke, but the orange in the Coke, I'm like, I don't know about that. So, I'm wary. Oh, okay. It's what it sounds like. Yeah, it's like an orange cream soda, but with like a Coke aftertaste. It's not awful. The orange cream is actually a stronger flavor than the Coke. The Coke is like an undertaste. I don't hate it, but we'll see what happens because, like I said, the first sip of the spiced Coke also tasted good. We'll see. I don't think this is something that I would buy on the regular. Also, I think it's just a special flavor. I don't know if it's going to be like permanent or whatever, but I should be able to finish that can without just pouring it down the sink. So there you go. Orange cream Coke, not entirely disgusting. Let me just try again. I kind of wish it didn't have the Coke in it, though. The orange cream soda would be better, but they go and ruin it with Coke. But it's not an overpowering Coke flavor that kind of ruins it. So, like one thumb up and one sideways, I guess, for that. Anyway, moving on to the more normal topics of my video podcast that I've been doing for 700 episodes, because I'm insane. The games. So I have been obviously playing the same games. I've been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. I finished Alice's Friendship Quest. The final one, you had this long, complicated drama creating an unbirthday cake. It took forever. And now I'm working on the Cheshire Cat, who unfortunately just sits in his tree all day, whereas with Alice, like, she was in the restaurants a lot, so you could like get extra friendship points by like feeding her in the restaurants. The Cheshire Cat, I'm just like giving him gifts every day to try to boost his friendship. And like I've been doing some quests. I don't think I'm gonna finish by the time the new Star Path starts in a few weeks, but I can just keep working on him while I'm also doing Star Path stuff and everything. But I have not been playing a lot of Nikki. As I mentioned in the last episode, I kind of have gone off it. But I saw this week that they had a big update, and I said, let's go look. So I said, let me boot up Nikki. I haven't booted up Nikki in like a week. Let's see what's going on. And it's the playtime update or whatever it's called. And I was like, all right, let's see what it is. And there's a whole new quest that you do with like side quests and things. And I said, okay, that's fine. I don't know how much of the extra crap I'm going to do trying to collect whatever. Didn't do it with the last one, the bubbles. So this one, I'm just sort of like, again, I'm going to do like the quest and enjoy the storyline such as it is. And I'll just enjoy that because they've put all this effort into like, you know, writing script and animating it and voice acting it. So I'm like, let me go and enjoy that. So, we'll see how long it lasts. I'll probably just do the quests and then call it a day, but we'll see. And I have continued to make more progress in Tell Me Why. I finished the first chapter, which ended with a bit of a reveal where what you've been going through the whole first chapter thinking that the murder of the mother happened one way, and then at the end, you see a full-on flashback of how it actually went down, and it throws everything kind of on its head, and you're like, oh, interesting. The other thing that has become interesting in the game is, as I mentioned last episode, the two twins are trying to, you know, resolve their past and figure out what happened to their mother, and in the days leading up to her death, what happened. And they're remembering things, and you conjure these memories that play out in like real time in front of you in that location. But what's happened is towards the end of chapter 1 and continuing into chapter 2 is Allison and Tyler are remembering things differently. So they will see a memory, but then one will say, this is my memory. And then the other one will say, but this is how I remember it. So like in one memory, person A is mad at person B, and in the other memory, person B is angry and aggressive at person A. You know, like it's the opposite. And then you, after watching both memories, have to decide which memory is real. So as opposed to like the dialogue options where I feel like that's just sort of like adding flavor to the character interactions and how they react to you and such, I feel like these deciding on the memory is maybe doing a little more work at like shaping the story, and that'll give you a different ending depending on which memories you've picked, because the characters will have acted differently and you pick one and that's how it happened in the past. And so that's going to kind of change the story, I think. I don't know how many branching paths or how many endings there are in this. I do feel like the actual murder and the mystery surrounding it is probably the same no matter what happens, and the endings are just different depending on how you've dealt with the other characters and what's happening with them and how they react to you, and if things end on a good note or a bad note with them at the end. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm still only in the middle of chapter 2, so we shall see how that works out. I also I didn't start a new game, but I have been trying out a demo. I tried out the demo for Fitness Boxing 3 on the Nintendo Switch because I am old and I no longer run because my knees can't handle it. So I have been putting on weight. And if you are a longtime viewer or a reader of GayGamer.net, you know that back in the day I weighed this much and started playing Wii Fit and then lost a lot of weight. And then I started running and lost even more weight, maybe a little too much weight. And then I was running races and I did the New York City half marathon. But then as I've aged, my knees are like, dude, cut it out. We can't do this anymore. Stop. So I thought, fitness boxing. Don't have to worry about my knees. I'm just, like this. Let's see. And it is actually a decent workout. The demo only allows a certain number of exercises. So, you can't really do a full-on giant long workout. But the smaller workouts that they give you in the demo to do are pretty good. And you do work up a sweat. And I was sore the day after. Thankfully, I didn't do too much, so I was only a little sore. It's not great. I don't know about the other trainers. The demo only has the one woman trainer, and she's, it's not voice acted. It's it sounds like this, I don't know, maybe it is voice acted and she's just bad, but it sounds like, AI, because it's slotting in whatever it needs to tell you for no, do this better, or don't go so fast, or slow down, or whatever. But the voice is just so awkward and stilted and computery that it's kind of off-putting. And then also you're just flailing around with the Joy-Con, so it's like Just Dance, you're just flailing. So you could literally just go like this and it would still register, I think, because it's you're supposed to be punching, then uppercut. And then there are times when I would forget to do the uppercut and I would just do a regular punch, but it would still register as perfect. So, it's not going to be great, but it does get you moving, which is the important thing. So if I'm doing this or this, it doesn't matter because I'm still moving. And that's a good thing when you're old and you need to stay relatively healthy. So I'm considering, actually, I need to still check out some more aspects of the demo, but I am actually considering buying it for the Switch so that I can play it more regularly and get the full game with everything that it entails, with the daily, monitoring and the exercising and the different kinds of workouts and stuff. But it's funny because I thought, well, maybe I could get Fitness Boxing 2, because the general consensus when I was reading reviews of the game online, there's not a lot, because the big outlets aren't reviewing these kinds of games, but the basic consensus was Fitness Boxing 1 was fine, Fitness Boxing 2 was better, but Fitness Boxing 3 is the best option. And I thought, well, if Fitness Boxing 2 is an improvement over the first one, it might not be as good as 3, but it's old, so maybe it's half off, and I could get that instead and save some money, and it would still be fine for me. Unfortunately, when I looked in the eShop, Fitness Boxing is not even in there, and Fitness Boxing 2 costs $50, just like Fitness Boxing 3. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to spend $50, I'll get the third one, and not the second one, But why isn't it on sale? It's so old, and the new one is out. But Nintendo they're not great with sales. It's like I said, I've said this on a bunch of things. I said this, the Switch 2 is out, but the Switch still costs $300. And I wanted to get another Code Recollection, but it was on sale, but only for a little tiny discount. And I was like, that's still too much money. However, I will say, segueing into the next topic, I actually did buy a new game. I haven't started playing it yet, but I did buy a new game because the other day I was playing Animal Crossing, and afterwards I said, you know what? I'm curious. And I opened up the eShop and I went into the sales section. I was like, what is on sale? Because obviously Nintendo doesn't put their first party games on sale very often. And if they do, it's only 10% off. I was like, what is in the eShop on discount? And it's a lot of crap. there were some games where I'm like, if I didn't already have a backlog of like, a dozen or so games, I might consider downloading that for my Switch. But I'm not going to because I have way too many other things to play, and this is only like maybe. But then I was scrolling. I didn't go all the way down because when you get all the way down, it's really crap. But they had The Last Campfire, and it was on sale for $1.99. If you've never heard of it, The Last Campfire, it's like a little puzzle platformer game from Hello Games, who did No Man's Sky. This was like, while they were doing No Man's Sky, a small team worked on this little game. So it's like this little indie game, and it was like $15, but they were selling it for $2, and the reviews were all good. And I was like, you know what? I have a big trip coming up. I'm going to visit my family in Massachusetts for 4th of July weekend. So this might be kind of a delightful distraction on the trip as I'm traveling. So I said, you know what? It's only $2. So that's a great deal. And I bought it. And I even had some gold coins. So I ended up charging my credit card literally $1.49 is what I paid for The Last Campfire. So, but I'm not playing that until 4th of July weekend. And that's going to be, like, I won't be coming back until Sunday, so there won't be a podcast that weekend. There will be next weekend, fingers crossed. But the 4th of July weekend, there won't be a podcast, so you'll have to come back the following weekend after that. And then I'll tell you about The Last Campfire. Until then, bye!